Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Summer School. Today, I'm going to be talking about all things HoneyBook, which is my favorite client managing system, and we're going to be chatting about some of the amazing updates that have recently came to it, specifically in the AI world. Because if you know, I've talked about AI a good bit of times within the podcast. We recently had an episode on all things ChatGPT. HoneyBook released something kind of similar to that, and they've released many other features that I truly think are really amazing for entrepreneurs, business owners, creatives, photographers, whatever you do that you're listening to this. I feel like HoneyBook is a really good tool, and I love talking about good tools for all of you to use. So before we dive in, let's just go over some life updates because I know I like trying to keep you up to date with life since we don't do those in guest episodes. So life updates, I just shot an amazing engagement session. It was so much fun. We shot at Greystone Mansion. So if you're local to LA, you probably know what I'm talking about. And I've shot there a few times, but specifically we made it to a spot within the grounds that I hadn't shot at before that was so pretty. It was like a little koi pond. It was gorgeous. So that was amazing. We just had a blast shooting with them. And then tomorrow we fly out to the south. Not for work, a little bit of a personal matter, but we do fly out and we'll be gone for about a week. So yeah, today consists of, my first Mother's Day recording this episode and packing up for a week of travel with the baby. So it's going to be crazy. But all of this honestly wouldn't be as possible without having good systems in my business to help me run my life and my business better. I genuinely am so stoked for this episode because HoneyBook is something that I've been using, and I think I had an episode air on HoneyBook in like October on how I use it. So go ahead and go back to that one if you want to know just how I use it, what I use it for, why I like it, because we're going to be going over a lot of the updates that have came to it. So before we dive in, I just want to let you know that if you want to try HoneyBook and you're hearing me talk and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, show me some information. There's a free 7-day trial in the show notes, in the description. Whatever you're viewing this on, there will be a link below. So go ahead and click that. Try it out if you're not using it already. And yeah, if you aren't using it, literally go get it. I can't imagine my business or life without something like HoneyBook. It's genuinely incredible. So HoneyBook is, just to break it down, what I've been using literally since I was 19 years old. It was one of the first programs I actually invested in, that and PickTime. And I invested in it. And so when I say I can't imagine my business life without it, I actually can't, because basically when I went full time, I also had HoneyBook, which is great. I was so glad that I was guided by good industry peers to have a client managing system from the get-go, from before getting any bookings, because I think a lot of people decide to wait on investing in maybe softwares that they think are advanced for the point in their career. But in my opinion, these kind of things really prepare you to actually pursue your career both sustainably and efficiently. So a client managing system, for anyone that's listening that might not know what HoneyBook is or what things like it are, basically it is the area and the thing that runs my entire business. It can plug into my QuickBooks and help with finances. I have an inquiry form on my website for my clients, and that inquiry form is embedded from my HoneyBook software. So when clients inquire, it auto-populates straight into a project within my HoneyBook, and that's actually where I communicate with them. I email inside of it. I send contracts. I send proposals. People pay inside of it. It literally does everything, and now it does even more, so that'll be really fun. I'm super excited to tell you about all of the amazing updates, but yeah, I've been using it since I was 19 years old. It's super easy to use. If you know anything about my business, you know that I've also outsourced over the years, and we're pretty in-house now, but it's been really easy for anyone to learn and get accustomed to, even my husband, who maybe didn't have experience in this world. So if you're new and you want to start, just know it's not hard to learn. I love how user-friendly it is and how simple it is to kind of start setting up. But I think a lot of us photographers that have been in the game for maybe some years or a good bit of time, we get really comfortable. And when we get comfortable, we invest in softwares where they're updating and they're upgrading, and you're staying the same with how you're using that software. So if that's you and you use HoneyBook and you didn't even know about these new updates, I'm super excited to tell you about them because I can fall into that trap a lot, getting really comfortable with what I'm using. Maybe they'll release a new feature and I won't even try it because I don't want to learn it or I don't want to take the time. But the thing is, these things don't actually really take time. They save you time, which is really, really cool. So up first, I want to tell you about my favorite feature. And I'm going to tell you about two of the new features. But my favorite one, which isn't actually brand new, we're going to be talking about one that's more brand new next. But my favorite feature that I fell into that trap of not like using it because I didn't want to push myself to try new things is the AI note taker. Basically, you could call it your new favorite assistant if you want to. So the AI note taker, when it first came out, I just assumed was something I had to put time into setting up and it wouldn't work with my workflow. Well, when I finally got the push to try these new features, I was like, I have to try this note taker because everyone says it's really cool. And it is really distracting for me to be taking notes during my meetings. So basically, not only does HoneyBook, like you can have all of your clients manage inside of it. You can have contracts, invoices, proposals, literally anything you can think of, and manage all your contacts, manage some of your finances, whatever you want to use it for, have some email templates. There's literally so many things you can do inside of it. Also, you can manage your calendar inside of it. And when you schedule a meeting with, like inside of HoneyBook, it will assign the AI note taker. So basically, the process is, and I'll like go into it with you guys. That's why I love podcasts. But so what I do is I'll have a client inquire, and they'll inquire through the form on my website, which is inside of HoneyBook. I'll get them in there. We'll be emailing. I'll set up a call with them, and I'll send them the meeting link inside of my HoneyBook calendar. And what I do it in is Zoom. So we have a meeting in Zoom. And yeah, so I guess there's another feature, which I just equate with the AI note taker, but the AI, like, I don't even know what you would call this. I'm sure I know HoneyBook probably has a name for it, but basically what happens is it's so cool. You assign the meeting, and an hour before the meeting, HoneyBook gives you like hey, here is this here's like a recap of what you've chatted about with this client and maybe some of their inquiry kind of information. And it gives you like a summary before your meeting, an hour before your meeting, so that you can prepare, which is so amazing, especially if you're looking into maybe having a slightly more sustainable business. Maybe you're outsourcing your emailing, you're the one taking the calls, but maybe you're not the one chatting with the client 24/7. That's me. I'm okay admitting that. Jake handles most of my emails, contracts, invoices, and communication. I'm the one that talks, and then he emails like me. Maybe I help him write the emails, but at the end of the day, this is like not a one-man show. So with this, he can schedule me a meeting, and an hour before the meeting, when I'm getting ready for the meeting, it will literally summarize the whole project for me and tell me what I need to know to be ready for this meeting. How freaking cool is that? So that is like not technically the AI note taker, but I equate it with part of the AI note taker process because I just love that it's like notifying me of what I need to know before I go into this call. How freaking cool is that? So that's amazing. If you're someone that's interested in outsourcing in any capacity, or you just don't have a good memory, even if you're doing all your emails yourself but you're handling multiple clients, you might not remember what you've said with who. Getting that recap, that's so fun. So outside of that, then 5-10 minutes before the call, when you're getting ready to hop in, your AI note taker hops in the call. And I want to tell you a little tip and trick for mine is I don't actually want to take a client call on Zoom where it says AI note taker and then it says Summer Grace and Kyle. I don't know, me and the client. So the AI note taker is not a camera. It's just, transcribing the call, and then we'll dive into that. What I do on Zoom is you can actually enable anyone that is not on camera for their view to be not present. So this note taker is still in the meeting, but no one really sees it in the meeting. So that's really sick for the client experience. If you want to do something like me, go ahead and use that tip and trick to your advantage. So yeah, that is what I do. Most of my clients don't even really notice that it's there, but I do tell them, hey, by the way, I'm having AI like transcribe our call, but it helps me be more present. Maybe you don't even want to tell them, whatever you want to do, but I would definitely go ahead and turn the AI note taker in your Zoom settings to be just like not visible, because I think that looks so good. You're not even going to know that it's there. They're not going to know it's there, so they're not going to think it's weird. It's a win-win for everyone involved. Now, so what this does is basically the AI note taker transcribes your whole talk. You actually end up getting a copy of it. So it transcribes your whole talk, and at the end of it, it generates like notes based off of the meeting you had with the person. I did a fake meeting with Jake just to have an example, and we have a fake story and a fake everything. So funny. So I'm actually going to pull up some of those notes so you can hear what it said, because I think it's kind of interesting how good it does and the summary. But you have to, just keep in mind that this is literally a fake meeting, which just cracks me up. But let me go to this really fast. Let's see. Pulling up the meeting real quick. I made a fake name and everything. I named her Danielle. Jake was Danielle. Oh, it was so funny. Okay, so scheduled a meeting with Danielle. Danielle is Jake. And then the note take, I filled out a fake inquiry form. Jake had fake questions to ask me. We did a whole fake inquiry call. Honestly, I should have recorded it or something. It would have been hilarious. But get ready for your upcoming project with Danielle. It says, get ready for your meeting with Danielle Moore. LOL, just my fake name. The time, what type of call it is, and then it has a recap so that I know what the meeting's going to be about. And it says, literally, I can just read some of this to you because this is so cool. So this is the prep that it sends you right before your call, and then I'll tell you what the notes were like after the call. So event details. Danielle Moore's wedding is scheduled April 18th, 2026 in San Francisco, approximately 120 guests. She prefers photography that feels natural, honest, and cinematic. The client, it says client preferences. Maybe I can share the screen for the YouTube viewers, but it says the client preferences that they value movement, timeless aesthetics, specifically maybe some intentional but not too posed of style of photography. They say what status of the inquiry process they're in. The client has inquired, but no services have been booked and no payments have been made yet. But she found me via Instagram. And then, outstanding task. It says that I need to confirm my availability and let them know, that kind of thing. So super cool. It kind of just updates everything that you would need to know before you go into your call. Obviously, this is a fake inquiry, so it would probably give me even more information if this was a real person that I had emailed with multiple times. But I literally submitted a fake inquiry, which is just hilarious. Then we took a meeting. Me and Jake took this meeting. He asked me questions, pretended to be Danielle. He made up that she was a cattle farmer or something. I don't even know. And there was a whole story. We talked for 30 minutes and had a whole fake inquiry call just so that we could see the notes it would spit out, because personally I didn't want to read you guys notes that AI was generating about one of my real clients. That would just be not cool to share my real client's personal information. So anyways, the meeting summary. So after I took the call and the HoneyBook's AI note taker feature transcribed it and stuff, it pops up with notes generated from your call, and it emails them directly to you right after your call ends. So while you're in your meeting, all you have to do is be present. Literally, I don't have to worry about writing anything down, which is crazy because I used to have to be hey, bear with me one second, I'm writing some notes, or give me a minute, I need to write this down. You don't have to write anything down, because not only is it going to generate you a summary of your notes, it's also going to send you a transcription of everything you said, which is so useful. Because even when I've been really organized, even for a recent shoot, I was man, I've seen this Pinterest board. She said she added me. I can't find it anywhere. Had the meeting been transcribed, I would have totally just had a link to it. That would have been so cool. But anyways, so Here is a little bit of the summary of my fake call with Jake so you can know like how it would act with a client of yours. So it said, meeting participants, me and the prospective client who wants an intimate wedding and they're exploring their photography options. The client's background. So it's just things that we talked about. So the client is a cattle farmer. Their significant other works in tech. They met overseas during a work trip. They've been engaged for 4 years. The wedding's going to be intimate, but with a planner involved. But the client is the one managing the communication. How sick that it summarized all of that. Those are all details I would love to know. I know you might think, why do I need to know they're a cattle farmer? Maybe we end up doing like a farm engagement shoot. Like, these are all details I would want to remember after the fact, but sometimes you're talking to your wedding clients for like over a year and you might not remember certain things like that. So super fun to be able to refresh yourself on and catch up on them. It then lists their photography preferences. So the kind of photos the client wants. They want an editorial but elevated feel. It literally says they expressed interest in film photography, but that's included in all packages offered by Summer. Guidance on timelines and portrait moments was requested, but they really want to balance being present and stepping away for photos. So it knew that and told me that in the summary. And then, it said packages and payments. It discussed what we went over as far as packages and what we were going to offer to them. And then action items. It said that they said that they wanted to book. By they, I mean our Jake pretending to be this client. So action items, Summer Grace will send the contract and deposit details immediately after the call. The client will review the contract and finalize the booking to lock in the wedding day. Bam, literally anything you would need to know. Whether you have a team or you don't, if you have a team, this is essential. If you don't have a team, this is still so good. You're going to have anything you talked about summarized for you. You get to be fully present with your client, looking at them in the eyes. You don't have to worry about writing down notes because after the summary, it's not like all it does is summarize it. It gives you a full transcription of the entire talk. Also, if you ever had legal issues with a client, this would also be kind of sick. Like, I pray that none of us ever have legal issues with a client. So I've never needed to do something like this, but if you ever did, you would literally have everything that either of you ever said transcribed. That is not your one reason to use HoneyBook Note Taker, but at the same time, it's not a bad idea. So anyways, in your client's portal, it auto-populates these notes into the notes section of your client's portal, which is where I used to take notes anyways. So it's amazing. I no longer have to write them and they go automatically to the notes section and it's only visible by you. So it is just so fun. I'm so excited that I finally pulled the plug and started using it because now I literally can't imagine taking any meetings without it, honestly. If we're being honest, I don't know what I would do without this AI note taker now because I truly think, honestly, my client calls are going even better because I'm able to fully be present with the client and not worry about having to write notes during their call. So the next feature that they just released is an AI assistant. Now this feature I haven't tested quite as much, but you know that I had a talk in the podcast 3 episodes ago about ChatGPT, and you know that I like ChatGPT. So I do think this feature is going to be really cool. So I still want to tell you guys about it, even though I haven't used it quite as much. I can't tell you how I'm using it and give you examples, but I want to tell you about it because I think it will be a really cool feature for anyone that is interested in having some sort of help inside your business, or maybe you don't want to pay for ChatGPT, but you do need a client managing system. I mean, this is totally worth it. So the AI chat or AI assistant, it looks like a little loading blue circle in your HoneyBook software. And it's basically like an AI assistant. So think of it kind of similar to maybe ChatGPT, but it's built into your HoneyBook. So it already knows things about your business. It knows things about our careers because, it's learning and being trained off people like us. And it actually does have access to your information. So you could ask it what was your most booked package last year? When was the last time you worked with X client? Can you help me write a follow-up email for this person? and it just answers it. It pulls information and data that you give it and gives you like a pretty human response because it is trained from people like us. And yeah, you don't really need to go looking for a different software, a different place, because technically if you have HoneyBook, you can use the chat right inside of there. You don't need to go pay for ChatGPT. Technically, it's kind of like having like a business bestie that already knows everything you've already done and it's ready to help you keep moving forward. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. I'm really excited to see how this specifically evolves and how this gets implemented and embedded into the HoneyBook system, because I love my ChatGPT. So HoneyBook having an AI assistant, I'm kind of here for. Maybe we'll have to do a follow-up episode where I tell you all about me using it. But I do think it's really cool that it already knows your business, that it's embedded into your HoneyBook. I think that's amazing to be able to test it and ask it questions about your business personally. Some like different software, like say a ChatGPT, like you would have to tell it everything about your business. It doesn't know your business because that's a different software. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. I think that's a really cool update. And I think that could be very beneficial for a lot of people, even for just drafting like email templates. I did have it help me like write a couple emails and it did really good. So I think it could be really cool if you kind of train yours and get it to help you with your business. Literally a little AI assistant built into the program. It's not like you need to go pay for it. Like it's built into your subscription. So yeah, definitely if you're not using HoneyBook, go click that free trial just for these two features alone. Now, I want to talk also about why all of this matters and why I'm doing a whole podcast episode about AI updates. I know AI can be a weird topic for everyone, but at the end of the day, if you listen to the pod, you know that sustainability and longevity are really important to me, especially now as a mom. So for any of you listening, I don't care if you're not a mom or you're not a parent, I was getting into sustainability way before I ever even found out I was pregnant, way before I thought I'd ever have a kid. Like this was a couple years ago when I realized, why do most photographers burn out after 3 to 5 years, maybe in the business full time? Maybe some last longer, but there's a common thread that a lot of people do not last that long in wedding photography. And we finally hit the 6-year full-time mark, which is really fun because I wanted to make it past that 5-year. I don't know, when I started getting into this, and I'd only been doing it like 3 years full-time, but I really wanted to get into sustainability and how to create like a everlasting career and one that you really enjoy for as long as you would like to pursue it, not to get burnt out and, things like that. I had only been doing it for like 3 years. So I didn't feel like it was something I could like confidently talk about. And even 6 years in, I don't feel like maybe I'm not the person. Maybe there's someone that's been doing it for decades that could talk about like sustainability, but it's still something I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about using systems that help give you more time for your personal life and help free you up to really do the things that you really love, whether that's spending time with your kids, whether that is shooting more and creating more art and not having to be stuck behind a computer 24/7. Whatever that is, I'm really passionate about programs and softwares that help enable you to do those things. So whether that's HoneyBook with their new AI features that are coming out, which is really exciting, whether that's AI culling with narrative. I love narrative and their culling systems. Whether it's using some sort of base AI edit for your weddings, I'm very pro trying those things out and maybe still like editing the end result yourself so that, it has a little bit of that human nature to it still. I am very much an artist who still very much so believes that it's a good thing to evolve and a good thing to use the tools that are coming out to help you, So yeah, I'm very passionate. At the end of the day, like these things were built. Maybe they weren't built. I don't know. I can't tell you why AI was created. I'm not a scientist. But at the end of the day, I think any software or any program that is building something in to give us more time in our personal lives or to do whatever we long to do, that is an amazing thing. So I'm very excited about these new updates that are coming. And outside of that, this all also matters because HoneyBook as a whole, outside of AI features, why it's important to have a client managing system is because if your systems are messy, your client suffers. So outside of sustainability, longevity, client experience is so freaking important. Client experience is so important. If your brain is scattered, you're going to lose leads, you're going to forget to follow up, and all of those things can help be prevented with things like an AI note taker that transcribes your call and enables you to be fully present, or even just with HoneyBook in general, with having an organized business that has good workflows and a good system in place to help you manage that business. It's about having the right tools at the end of the day. You could take some of the best photos in the world, but if you didn't have the right systems in place and you didn't maybe have the right tools in your tool belt, that you might not get to create much because there might not be anyone to hire you to create. You might get to create for free, yes, but that's not a career, and that's not what I'm here to guide you guys on how to learn and what to become. Because at the end of the day, I want all of you to succeed, and I want you to do it well with systems that really empower you to do that. So AI stuff, it's not just fancy fluff jargon. I think they're really functional tools that I think a lot of people should be, I know a lot of you should be using. And I'm super stoked, whether it comes to shooting, connecting with clients, taking meetings, whatever it comes to, I know that my systems in my business are going to help me do all of that so much better. So, client managing system, it's important. If you're going to invest in anything in the beginning of your career, to me, step one is having a good client managing system in some capacity. Having some sort of good workflow. One, legally protects you. You need good contracts. You need a way to send those. You need an easy way to do that. You need a good way to talk to your clients. You need an easy way to onboard them. All of these things are solved with tools like HoneyBook. So super excited to partner with them for this podcast episode. If you are curious about trying it, I know I've already mentioned it in the beginning of the episode, but go ahead and click in the description to the free 7-day free trial. I know that it might be a little overwhelming maybe for some of you to try and implement a new client managing system if you're new to this. So if you are, feel free to hit me up, DM me. I'm always down to answer questions, and I've been using this system since I started my business, since I was a little baby photographer. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me anytime. I would love to help you in any capacity that I can. And if you already have HoneyBook, this is your sign to go actually use the features that it's releasing. I don't want to hear any of you complaining if you haven't even tried the new features that they've been coming out with. So go implement that AI note taker, go get your calendar organized, implement it into your meetings. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be so fun, and it's going to make your life so much easier. So go do it. And as always, go ahead and leave a review if you liked this episode. Share this with a friend if maybe they use HoneyBook or should use HoneyBook. Share this with a friend. Send them that free trial link. And yeah, I can't wait to catch all of you next week. Stay tuned for more fun guests. And if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to Summer School, the membership. It is also linked in the show notes and description. And it is our community outside of this podcast where we get to chat all things photography 24/7 through an amazing community platform, and where education and exclusive classes drop monthly. So if you want to learn, be inspired, and grow with other members in the photography community, go ahead and subscribe. It's only $40 a month, and I can't wait to see you there. So hope you all have an amazing week, and goodbye.